Hey everyone, this is Richard with Richard Runs Trails. How's everyone doing? Happy Halloween. Let's go for a run. I'll give you an update on what I've been up to. That's the first time I've been out here. This is Santa Rita Ranch Trails. It's a large subdivision a few miles north of where I live. I didn't realize there were so much trails out here. I knew there were some, but let's explore them together. It's been a few weeks since actually it's been 3 or 4 weeks since I uploaded a video to YouTube. What have I been up to? I've been working a lot. I'm in supply chain, and as you've known on the news, supply chains everywhere are all screwed up, and this just keeps getting worse. So I've been spending a lot of time with that. I'm not gonna talk about boring work stuff, but the only thing I would say is do your Christmas shopping now, because retailers are going to run out of stuff pretty fast, mainly because IC shortages affecting electronics, component shortages, and logistics. People can't get sea containers, which is a big problem. Oh, they're building new trails out here. So people can't get sea containers, so stuff can't leave Asia. There's like a couple weeks delay to get them, and then the ships can't get offloaded in Long Beach, California, and other ports around the world because COVID has caused shortages of labor. Plus there's an uptick in shipments now because people are trying to get caught up. So there's about 100 ships off the California coast waiting to be unloaded. They say some of them won't get unloaded till after Christmas. And it's real hard to get space on cargo ships unless you're a really big company. And the real big companies are chartering cargo ships. Boy, these trails are a lot longer than I thought. I have to come out here more often. This is really nice. Costco, Walmart, Target chartering their own ships, so they're in a little bit better shape. They will run out of goods last, but bottom line is do your shopping now, because if you wait till Black Friday in November, there may not be much left, and there's not much more coming. I dealt with some injuries over the last few weeks, actually last 3 or 4 weeks. I don't know why I keep saying a couple weeks, but 3 or 4 weeks. I think they were training related, not race related. I had a really difficult race at the beginning of November. Arkansas Travelers. It's in the Ozarks. It's about 13,000 feet of elevation. Boy, it's confusing. I'm gonna have to learn these trails. Looks like they're going all different directions. We'll go down this one. Well, anyways, Arkansas Traveler was just an awesome experience. A lot of history. One of the oldest ultras in the U.S. They've been putting it on about 30 years. It's in the Ouachita Forest National Forest, which is 100+ miles, huge. And it rained all day long, literally. I ran in water the whole day. The amazing thing is I made it 57 miles and my feet were still in pretty good shape. I had a little bit of a blister, but I was running my Injinji Trail socks and Olympus 4s, and I did great. Amazing. Took my socks off and my bottom of my feet were white, like you've been waterlogged, but very little blisters. It was really amazing. The first race, aid stations were incredible. I mean, pancakes and bacon at one of them. I mean, you can't ask for better. They do a really good job. There's only about 250 people in the race, so it's hard to get into it. I'm gonna try to get into it again next year so I can finish. But wow, this is cool. Man, I found a gem of trails here. I'll have to come out here more often. These trails are better than the ones where I live. And this is only a few miles up the road. Boy, there's a secret gem they're keeping from everyone. I thought they had like a mile or so of trails. Looks like these things go on and on. Trying to get down to the river. Well, I think this is the, you can see Ronald Reagan Boulevard out there. Nice and scenic. Doesn't look like it goes down the river right here. Ronald Reagan is one of the top roads for cyclists in Austin. If you take, I can turn right from my subdivision, go out to 35, and it's 20 miles there, 20 miles back, 40 miles. People riding from Austin, they can do like a 60-mile round trip. It's really cool. I mean, you go out cycling, literally you'll see hundreds of cyclists, especially on the weekend. Anyways, back to Arkansas Travelers. It's about an 8-hour drive from my house, and stayed out in my new tent, which didn't work too well. It's too small, actually. It's that one that looks like a coffin. I need to learn how to use it better. When I first tried sleeping in it, I wouldn't get enough air. I think once it's cooler, colder, it'll be better. But anyways, had a decent sleep. Brother, sister-in-law were out there. Brother was racing. But like I was saying before, it's the first time 30 ultras that I ever got close to a cutoff time. I decided to quit at the turnaround, so I saw the whole course, 57 miles, but I literally came into the cutoff station with 3 minutes to spare. They would have let me go. I was thinking I wouldn't have, it was at night, it was like 12 midnight already. I wouldn't have time to really eat stuff at, you know, mashed potatoes or noodles or stuff at night at the aid stations. That's what I usually do. During the day it wouldn't have been a big deal, but at night I try to eat stuff, and it would have been very miserable, very hard without eating much to make the last 33 miles. I've second guessed myself many times about quitting it, especially since I heard that some people were coming in after the 30-hour cutoff time, still getting their buckles, and not official time, but allowed to finish. If I'd known that, I would have kept going. I don't know. It was really close. I mean, I was worn down, and And let's see which way we want to go. We'll go this way back. I was worn down, but I was just concerned about the cutoff times. They had cutoff times at every aid station, and even had what they call a red zone. It means if you're in the red zone, which I was in the red zone for 3 or 4 aid stations, they say it's pretty hard to finish under 30 hours. But I kept going. When I made it to Powerline aid station, I was 45 minutes under the cutoff time. But then I went 2 more aid stations to turn around, and I was only 3 minutes under the cutoff time. It gets more aggressive, and I felt better, but I was amazed that I lost so much time in 2 aid stations. I'll be better prepared next year, but one point I want to stress: I've always learned, at least everyone always talks about it. I'll first say this is my first real mountain race. I mean, real mountains. There were some mountains that went up for like 3 miles, 3-4 miles. But I've always learned that when you're going uphill, fast hike, drink, take nutrition. I'll tell you, first half of that race, I didn't screw around. I tried to jog a lot of the uphills, and I fast hiked, you know, some stuff that was, I don't know, 4 or 5% grade. Mistake. Mountain race like that, it's almost always going uphill. You have to jog. So unless it's a really steep incline, I don't know, 8, 10 maybe, anyways, double what I was doing, you need to jog. Otherwise you're gonna get in trouble with cutoff times, because the first 50 miles of that race, I mean, there were some downhills, but I tell you, it really felt like we were always going uphill. So I wasn't going as fast as I should have been going. So I learned my lesson. So that's BS about always fast hiking up hills. If they're really steep, yeah. But if you're in a real mountain race, you better be jogging a lot of the uphills. Otherwise you ain't gonna make it. Because if I had done that, you know, stuff that was a little bit steeper, I mean, there's some hills that were 10 degrees plus. You have to hike those unless you're a pro. But there were a lot of mountain jeep roads and stuff that I should have jogged instead of fast hiking. I got behind on time. Stuff like this, I would fast hike. I should have been jogging. I guess this, what I'm doing right now, is about 3-4% grade. But what I was gonna say is, you see a cyclist out there now. What I was gonna say is, if I'd been an hour faster in the first 57 miles, I could have made it. Could have kept going. I just didn't have any time to spare at aid stations. I would have time to fill up. Liquid calories wouldn't have done it though. I need to eat stuff at night. Anyways, it was a beautiful race. I met a guy, Steven, older than me, 60 years old. He's done probably 100 ultras, but he's done all those mountain races, and he's from Texas also. Talking about Texas races, and he said, why you do all those races? They're boring as shit. He only does the mountain ones. Drives up to Arkansas, Tennessee, Georgia. He had a good point. I mean, I enjoy my Texas races, but you know, stuff like Brazos Bend, I'm doing in December. I think it's gonna be the last time I do that kind of race. It's just a loop on a flat course. I really have got the bug for these mountain races. So I learned something from him. He's funny. He had a pacer most of the race. He actually dropped out same time I did, but he's finished that race before. Actually, he's finished all the Arkansas races before. There's 2 tough ones in Arkansas, Run Love It and Arkansas Travelers, both in the Blvd National Forest. But he said you can have pacers the whole race when you're old as fuck like me. I thought it was funny. He's see, we keep crisscrossing trails. Seems to be no sense to it at all. But I think once I run out here more, I'll understand it. Be good for a mountain bike out here. It looks like they built in some berms. Anyways, I didn't finish Arkansas Travelers, but I plan to go back next November. If I can't get in there, I should be able to. You just gotta pay attention to the registration time because it fills up fast. If I can't do it, then I'm gonna do Javelina 100 or No Business 100 in Tennessee, all about the same time. Javelina 100 was this weekend. Watched part of it on YouTube. Really amazing. They got cameras all over it now. They didn't have it like that when I've done it twice. I'd like to go back. Really amazing. Had cameras all over it, just like they do for UTMB and Ari Vipa has done for their 200-mile race. You know, Western states had it, but I think that's the new norm. These big race directors are gonna have cameras all over the races. I like to be part of that. Some really old live oak trees out here. These trees grow really slow, so hundreds of years old. So I got Brazos Bend 100 coming up early December in Houston. I feel pretty good. Been running and biking every week now, and kind of a balance. Well, mainly on my road bike. I don't have a mountain bike. I gave it to my brother. It's an older one. I'd like to get a new gravel bike that I could use on the trails. That'll be my next bike. I got Brazos Bend 100 in December. It's coming up. I feel good for that. I want to have a good finish there. Maybe hit a 100-mile PR there. It's an easier course. But the easier courses come with dangers. It's like Rocky Raccoon. You run too fast in the beginning, you'll die trying to finish. In January, Bandera 100K. I almost registered the other day. I was debating whether I should or not. That's one race I like to do every year in Texas. It's only 4 weeks after Brazos Bend, but I've done it 5 years in a row. I was thinking, well, maybe I should skip it. I should race less. I won't get injured so much anymore because I'm getting older. I'm 54. Try to do epic shit all the time. Maybe it's catching up with me, but I was thinking about today. I think I'm gonna register this weekend before it gets closed. So should be doing Bandera 100K in first week. I think it's the second weekend of January. But then my big announcement is I'm doing Run Love It. That's in Blvd National Forest in Arkansas at the end of February. It'll be a lot colder, even more elevation. I think up to 20,000 feet. Basically, it's like hard rock. It's a hard rock that nobody's heard of. So you probably wonder, why are you a dumbass? You didn't finish Travelers. Everyone says this race is twice as hard. I think I could have finished Travelers if my strategy was a little better. I'm just really hooked on these mountain races, and it's in a beautiful part of Arkansas. I can also visit family there. Starts and finishes at a resort, so I'll take my family. The cool thing about it is starts at 5 or 6 p.m. on Friday, so I can drive there and 8 hours there, and then drop off my family. I can play at the resort, and then can run all night, all day, finish the early hours of Sunday, then we can drive home. So that's my plan. But I think we made a trailhead over here. Go back this way. So I've got 3 races on the docket so far. December, January, February. That's the end of February. Should be pretty cold too, which I think will help. I mean, it wasn't that hot at Travelers, but the colder races, if you're prepared, are a little bit better because hydration needs are less. The body just likes running and really long distances, and cold weather better. It's easier to protect yourself. And so I feel good about it. I know what kind of training I need to do. Just more heel work. I have them near my house. I just lazy, don't run them sometimes. It's not so much fun, but oh shit, a big snake. It's a big ribbon gardener snake. I don't usually see them that big. Where'd he go? Oh, I lost him. I think that's one of the biggest I've ever seen. They don't bother you. They usually live near water, eat frogs and stuff like that, but I never usually see them about half that size. It's a big one. Anyways, I'm excited about Run Love It. I think it's doable. I can finish it, and I know some people have finished it. I know it'll be ridiculously hard, but the nice thing is, even though it has humongous elevation like Hard Rock, they give you 34 hours. They give you four more hours to finish, which is cool. I think if I can do some serious hill training over this next 2 months, which will help me in Brazos Bend because it's a flat course. Because, you know, they always say hill training is also speed work. Famous runners always say that. Also got Bandera. We got a lot of elevation. You know, rocky climbs up in Bandera in Texas. So basically got 3 months. I can do it. The rest of the year, I'm not sure. Summer, I probably won't do much. Unless I do some night races. I didn't do any this year. Mainly because of the pandemic. But with the pandemic basically winding down, at least I hope so, I can do more races in the summer. So January, February, March, April, I'm not sure. Summer, undecided. October, November, I'm going to try to do Arkansas Travelers, or we'll be back at Javelina 100 in the Phoenix Desert. Let's see, I'm excited about it. I think that big snake was headed to this pond. Well, hope you enjoyed the video. Please check out my podcast, Richard Runs Trails. It's the same name as my YouTube channel. I stopped uploading my podcast to my YouTube channel because I don't think people understood. I put it's audio only, but it scared away some of my subscribers. Some people unsubscribe when I upload my podcast. I don't understand why, but it's feedback in one way or another. So I recently had a podcast, and you can find my podcast on Apple Podcasts, Breaker, Google Podcasts, basically all the big podcast networks. I've been doing podcasts longer than I've been doing in my YouTube channel, but I'll keep my audio podcasts on my podcast channel, and those should become more frequent. And for everyone that's been hanging in there on my YouTube channel, thank you. I appreciate it. You guys are my friends. I mean, I haven't uploaded in almost 1 month, and I only lost 1 subscriber, and then I gained another. So I think I was down 1 subscriber. So I appreciate everybody sticking with me. But my videos should become more regular. I've gotten caught up in what I've been doing. But hope everyone has a great week, and enjoy your run. Take care.